Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Behruz Shoturayev. I will be hosting today's IELTS reading marathon. I have been invited to host reading marathon due to my expertise in this component of IELTS exam. My personal band score in IELTS is 8.5 with straight 9s in listening and reading, 8.5 in speaking and 7.5 in writing. I have taken IELTS exam so far 13 times, and out of my 13 attempts, I managed to get a band score of 9 in reading for 8 times consecutively. You are welcome to lesson 2. In lesson 2 of our today's reading marathon, I will give you an insight into true, false, not given type of questions, or they are commonly known as information identification. So now, let's look at agenda. First, we will have to understand what does it mean to work with true, false, not given type of questions. So I will give you some general information about this question type, followed by sample questions. I will share with you some strategies that you can implement when you are dealing with true, false, not given type of questions. And I will also give you top 10 tips for IELTS true, false, not given question types based on my own experience. So let's get started. These true, false, not given question types are considered to be the most challenging type of question that appears in IELTS reading. You can find them in both academic and general training IELTS reading test. The more you understand about these questions, the easier they will be. And the strategies you learn to address with true, false, not given can be used when you start dealing with other question types. So as you can see, here we have an illustration where 8 questions are being provided. So instead of calling them questions in the following slides, we will be referring to them as statements. And as you can see, the task is asking me, do the following statements agree with the information given in the text? You have to put true if the statement agrees. You have to put false if the statement contradicts the information in the text, and you have to put not given if there is no information on this. So how many statements you have here? You have statement from 1 up to 8. And out of these true, false, not given questions, 8 questions, some of them will be true, while others will be false, and I always have 1 or 2 questions which should be marked as not given. So now let's look at true. What does it mean for the answer to be true? So if you want to mark the answer as true, it should confirm the information in the statement. So in this case, answer is true. So what is confirming here? Your text should agree with the information in the statement. If the answer is true, that means you can find this information in the passage. You see, you can find it. When the answer is true, that means the information given in the statement has the same meaning as it does in the text. We are dealing with factual information, so there is no room to say it is similar or it's like nearly the same. When answer is true, it must be identical. Now let's look at example. We have example number 1. What I do first, I read the statement. The brain has difficulty understanding the messages sent from the sense during roller coaster rides. So I read this statement and highlight the keyword. The keyword should be, like mathematically speaking, it should be a variable. It should be 1 or 2 keywords which affect the meaning of the statement most. Here my keyword is difficulty. You see, the brain has difficulty understanding the messages sent from the senses during roller coaster rides. I also identify some keywords which cannot be paraphrased in the text. Here we have roller coaster rides, you see, roller coaster rides. This word cannot be paraphrased in the text. So what I do now, I try to find this roller coaster rides in the text because it will tell me where the relevant part of the passage is given. I read A paragraph, there is no information about roller coaster, so I just keep reading until I reach B paragraph, where the very start of the paragraph already tells me about the roller coaster. So read the passage now. As a roller coaster puts the body through weightlessness, high gravitational forces, and acceleration, the brain struggles to make sense of conflicting and changing signals from the senses. So what I do now, I come back to the statement and try to find the same meaning in the text. So I am checking for presence of the whole meaning. If I have the same idea, if I have the same information, if my statement agrees with the passage, if my statement has identical information to the passage, in this case only my answer will be true. So you see, I have brain. What is a synonym for difficulty here? Struggle. What is synonym for understanding? Make sense. What is synonym for messages, signals from the senses? And we have a roller coaster in both parts. So what is my verdict? The text agrees with the information in the statement, so answer is true. I could find the whole meaning of the statement inside the passage. Now look at the second example. Look at the statement first. The product helps people lose weight by eliminating extra fat in the body. So what is the keyword? Product. I need to find information about product. And the other keyword that I have here is lose weight. So it should be a product which helps people to lose weight. How? Eliminating extra fat in the body. So what I do now, I read paragraph B till the end. I have no information about this product, but when I read the C paragraph, I do find information about this product. You know that IELTS true false not given questions are always given in the same order as they appear in the text. So you don't have to read the previous paragraphs. The questions will always follow the same order as they appear in the text. If I find answer to question number 1 in paragraph B, answer to question number 2 should be either in paragraph B or below. So let's assume I found this information in paragraph C. I read it carefully. I say this product causes a breakdown of excess body fat and will aid them in shedding pounds. So what is a synonym for breakdown of excess body fat? When you break down something, you eliminate something, get rid of something, you see? Body fat, extra fat. This product, that product. What is synonym for aid? Helps. What is shedding pounds? You know that some animals are capable of shedding their skin. Here, we are humans, we are not shedding skin, we are shedding pounds, kilograms. So instead of saying weight, they give you a type of weight, you see, like a measurement unit. They give you pounds. Instead of losing, they say shed. My answer will be true. And let me tell you why. Because I could find the same information in the passage. My statement fully agrees with the information in the passage. You see, it has identical information to the passage. That's why it's correct. Correct means true. The text agrees with the information in the statement, so answer is true. That's my verdict. Let me give you one more example. Now let's look at example 3. I read the statement, question number 3, statement number 3. Stuffiness and elevated temperature are signs of the flu. Do you know what is stuffiness? So now I have stuffiness because my nose is congested, you see, blocked. My nasal channels are being blocked, so I cannot breathe normally. I have to breathe through my mouth, not my nose. Do you know what is elevated temperature, high temperature? Are signs. What is signs? Symptoms of the flu. So what I do now, I read C paragraph And at the end of C paragraph, I could find this information. Symptoms of the flu include fever and nasal congestion. What is a synonym for symptoms here? Signs of the flu. What is synonym for include? Are. What is synonym for fever? Fever, it's a medical term. You can commonly call it elevated temperature. What is nasal congestion? Stuffiness. So you see, my statement fully agrees with the passage. I have the same information both in the passage and the statement. That means my answer is true. It's absolutely true. The information is fully given. You see, if only part of the information is given, answer will be not given. When the information is fully given, 100% given, my verdict will be a true answer. Now, what does it mean for the answer to be false? Look, basically speaking, we have two types of false. We have a false when the information given in the passage is opposite to the information in the statement. And we have the second type of false when, according to the text, the statement contains a mistake. So I will repeat. Basically speaking, you have two types of false. First type of false when you have the opposite information. And the second type of false when your statement has a mistake, it contains a mistake which can be corrected according to the text. In both cases, answer will be false. So what is false? False is when your statement has a mistake where it can be corrected. What is true? True is when the statement is already correct. So when the information is already correct, it is true. When information contains a mistake which can be corrected, which should be corrected according to the text, answer is false. False means the text fully disagrees with the statement. Don't forget, you are not just looking for opposite meaning. If you look for opposite meaning in every case, you can make mistakes. So I tell you now, we have two types of false. We have first type of false where you have opposite information, and we have the second type of false when information is given, but it contains a mistake that can be corrected according to the text. Let's look at example 1. Read the statement. The concept of habitation of outer space by mankind is unimaginable. Unimaginable. So what is my keyword? My keyword here is the word unimaginable. How do I know it? I know that they will give me information about concept. They will give me information about habitation of outer space. Of course, they will use some synonyms to paraphrase it. But the keyword here is unimaginable because it shows me the attitude. You see, it shows me the attitude of people. It should be my X in mathematics. It should be my variable. So you see, here instead of saying unimaginable, you can make it imaginable, possible. A keyword is always a word that has the most effect on the meaning. The only word here that has the utmost effect is the word unimaginable. So what I do now, I come back to the passage. I remember finding the answer to question number 3 in passage C. In paragraph C, I mean. So what I do, I keep reading until I reach D paragraph, and when I read the D paragraph, I find the keyword, habitation. In outer space, in huge stations, is no longer just a dream, but a reality. So you see, habitation in stations, in outer space, is no longer a dream. So what does it mean, no longer a dream? It is a reality. You know that reality and unimaginable, they have opposing meaning. You see, they have different meaning. That's why my answer will be false. The text disagrees with the information given in the statement. That's why my answer will be false. Here we have the first type of false. In the first type of false, the information given in the statement is opposing to the information given in the passage. You see? Opposing or opposite. Let's look at example 2. we read the statement, the question. Students who study all the time may receive positive comments from their colleagues, from their peers. So what is the keyword here? Study all the time. Another keyword is positive. You see, positive comments like praising, compliments. You see, favorable comments from their colleagues. By colleagues, they mean their group mates, classmates, peers, etc. So what I do, I keep reading the paragraph. I couldn't find answer in the paragraph. That's why I move forward. I never make a comeback. I don't have to read the previous paragraphs. I only move forward. I read paragraph E. In paragraph E, I find this information. Australians believe that life should have a balance between work and leisure time. As a consequence, some students may be critical of others who they perceive as doing nothing but study. Now look at this. Students criticize other students who do nothing but study. Look at the meaning of do nothing but study. If you do nothing but study, that means you study all the time. You are a geek. So critical has the opposite meaning to positive. Positive comment cannot be critical. So you see, we have different information. We have opposing information. My question disagrees with the information in the text. That's why answer should be false. Now let me tell you how they develop true, false, not given questions. When IELTS test developers create questions, they first create only true questions. So if you just come back to this slide where you are given 8 questions, in the beginning, all of these questions are true according to the text. And right after that, in some of the questions, they, test developers, intentionally make some mistakes. So you see, they intentionally make some mistakes, which gives the opposite information, or which gives information which disagrees with the text. As a result, some of the answers automatically turn to false. What about not given? How they create not given answers? They take true information according to the text, put it as a statement, but inside the text, they cut out this information. They can cut out this information partially or fully. So now let's look at this. Example 2. When they created the question, at first, they put the word negative. They put the word negative at the beginning. But in order to make a variety of true, false, not given questions, they decided to make a mistake. Instead of putting the word negative comments here, they decided to put the word positive. You see, my true answer automatically turns from true into false. I can, put it in the default form, just saying negative. Look at the example number 3. The statement says, free running is expensive activity for participants. So what is the keyword? Free running and expensive. Free running, I guess it's a term that cannot be paraphrased. Always try to find a word. It can be a person, a place, a number that cannot be paraphrased. And what is the second keyword? Expensive. This is my keyword which has the most impact on the meaning of the statement, expensive. So come back to the text. I read paragraph E, paragraph F, I just move forward. And what I do, I find this information in paragraph F, let's say. The free, accessible nature of free running means that it has a potential to engage groups of young people who are typically unmoved by traditional sports. Basically, anyone can participate anywhere. All you need is a decent pair of trainers, so financial outlay is negligible. There are no joining fees. Now look at this. What does it mean, financial outlay? Do you know what's the meaning of outlay? If you don't know the meaning, try to make a prediction of this unknown lexical item. You know what is lay. You can lay the table. So what is lays a table? Putting something on table. What about outlay? You see, it's not in, it's going out. So they talk about money here, you see, financial outlay. So I guess outlay means expenses. So you see, it is expenses. Money is going out, it's not coming in. Financial expenses is negligible. Financial expense is negligible. So what is negligible? Small amount of something is called negligible. So it requires negligible amount of money. When you have negligible amount of money, it should be cheap, not expensive. And they say no joining fees. So you see, if this activity doesn't require me to pay this admission fee or joining fee, that means it's free of charge. It's not expensive, it should be free of charge. So what is a keyword here? Expensive has the opposing meaning to no joining fees. Expensive has an opposing meaning to negligible. That's why my answer will be false. So what is false? False is when the statement disagrees with the passage. False is when the information given in the statement contains a mistake that can be corrected according to the text. So you see, when IELTS examiners, they created this statement initially at first, they put the word cheap, but in order to make it false, they decided to put the word expensive instead of the word cheap. If the answer were cheap, if the word were cheap, answer would be true. But here they decided to give the word expensive, that's why answer is false. Now, last but not least, what does it mean for the answer to be not given? We, basically speaking, we have two types of not given. First type of not given, we call it not mentioned. So you are given a statement, and this entire statement is not mentioned in the passage at all. You cannot find anything about it in the text. You see, it has been cut out, it has been cut off. So when you come back to the text, you try to find the relevant part of the text, but you cannot find it. And the second type of not given, when information is partially given. That means some keywords of the statement are given inside the text, but they do not reflect the whole meaning. They do not give the whole meaning. Not given, one more time, means the entire statement is not given in the passage, you see? It's like not mentioned at all. Sometimes, some keywords of the statement can be given, but not the whole statement. Watch out for that. Be careful. Try to find the whole meaning. If you find the whole meaning, answer is true. When you find only part of the meaning in the text, answer is false. Just because an answer is not given doesn't mean that there are no words in the statement that fit words in the text. Not given means that the whole meaning of the statement cannot be found in the passage. Some keywords might be given, but not the whole meaning, not the full meaning of the statement. Now let's look at this example. Example 1. I read the statement. Sir Isaac Newton had done scientific experiments as an equator. So what is a keyword? I have Newton, I have equator, and I also have these experiments, you see, done experiments. So what I do, I come back to the passage, find the relevant information about Isaac Newton. You see, I can find the information about Isaac Newton. I see the word equator, but I cannot find information about scientific experiments. So what type of not given is that? Some keywords of the statement are given in the text, but they do not reflect the whole meaning. Information is partially given, but it's not enough to make a decision. Although some keywords of the statement match those in the text, there is no information on scientific experiments, so the answer must be not given. Look at the second example. The statement says Maupertus and Condamen had worked together in the past. Read the statement carefully. What they say? We have Maupertus. It's a person one. This is a second person. And we use past perfect. What is past perfect? Past perfect shows that action happened before another action, or action happened before a stated time in the past. So that means before collaborating this time, they also did some collaboration. They had done some collaboration before. So what I do, I come back to the passage, I start reading about this Maupertus, I see this Condamen, but you know what? I cannot find information about them working together, about their collaboration. If inside the text they gave me some keywords like collaboration, cooperation, working together, teaming up, answer would be true. But in this case now, this part of information is absent, you see, in the text. It is missing in the text. It had been cut down. Although some keywords of the statement match those in the text, there is no information on their previous collaboration. That's why answer is not given. So can you tell me now how they create not given answers? First, they take true statement. They take a true statement from the text, and then in the text they cut down, or let's say cut out, some piece of information. When this cutting out happens, my answer automatically, yes, is transferred or converted from true into not given. Not given means, I will repeat one more time, when this information is fully cut out from the text or partially cut out from the text. Now, look at some strategies. Now we will look at some strategies for true, false, not given. First, you should always read the instructions carefully and make sure you know if it is true, false, not given or yes, no, not given. Whenever I deal with true, false, not given, I know that there is a chance for me to confuse it with yes, no, not given. That's why I read the instructions carefully. So I am accustomed to seeing true, false, not given in passage 1 and passage 2, while yes, no, not given mostly comes in passage 3. But it's not a rule, you see. Nobody guarantees you this fact. Every time try to be skeptical about this and read the instructions carefully. The second, read all the statements carefully, trying to understand what the whole sentence means, rather than picking out some keywords. You know, those who are only caring about one or two keywords from the text, from the statement, they can, you know what, they can lose the big picture. As a result, they will make some dummy mistakes. Now, here we say, watch out for qualifying words such as some or always. So do you know what is qualifying words? They show the quality of something. They can also show the amount of something. Okay, let me give you an example. In the text, they say some people. Some people. But in the question, I have most people. In the text, I have some people. In the question, I have most people. You know, most of the IELTS candidates, they make a mistake. They think that some and most, they have opposite information, like they have the opposite meaning. But answer here will be not given. Let me explain you why. What is some? Some is indefinite pronoun. Some, by saying some people, you are not telling me what is a number of people. It can be a small number, it can be a big number, it can be minority, it can be majority. In the question, in the statement, they say most. So you see, there is a probability of some being most. And there is also a probability of some being minority of people. That's why my answer will be not given. I will give you the Uzbek way now. Hold on a second. Some in Uzbek means bir nechta, bir qancha. While most in Uzbek means ko'pchilik. So what does it mean? Some bir nechta, son bir qancha odamlar, soni noma'lum. Most, ko'pchilik. So in the statement, I have ko'pchilik. In the passage, I have bir qancha. But you know that bir qancha can be any number. Bir qancha degani noma'lum, mavhum narsa. 10 ta bo'lishi mumkin, 20 ta, 30 ta, 40 ta, ko'pchilik bo'lishi mumkin, ozchilik bo'lishi mumkin. Most means ko'pchilik. So you see, here I don't have enough information to make a decision whether it's true or false. I cannot make a decision. So in cases when you have such qualifying words, most of the time answer will be not given. It's not false. Let me explain you in the Russian language. In Russian, some has two meanings. Несколько, некоторые. Здесь сам переводится как некоторые. In the statement, they have большинство. Некоторые люди, количество неизвестно. Неопределенное местоимение. А здесь написано большинство людей. Поэтому имеется вероятность, что эти некоторые люди могут составлять и большинство, и меньшинство. That's why my answer will be not given. Now look at the statement number 3 here. Try to think of what synonyms might be in the text. So you are making predictions. After reading the statement, after highlighting one or two keywords, you should try to make a prediction of what synonyms will be used in the text. What would be the paraphrase of this word in the text? Now look at number 4. Find and carefully read the relevant part of the text using keywords. Okay, you know about it. Let's move on. Focus on the statement again and then carefully read the relevant part of the text to establish if it's true or false. Remember, the meaning should exactly match of the statement if it is true. The meaning should be opposing if it is false, or the meaning should contain a mistake according to the text if it is false. Underline the keywords that give you the answer. So I always underline the keyword in the text so that when I come back to it later, I can check the answer one more time. And now look, if you are really unsure about the answer because you cannot find it in the text, you should mark it as not given and move on to the next question. It will, you know what, save your time. And as soon as you find the answer to the next question, let's say it is true, automatically the answer to the previous question will be not given. Sometimes when you are unsure about the information because you cannot find it, you should put the word not given because you know what, in reality the answer may not be there. So it may not be given there. Okay, let's move on. Now I will share with you top 10 tips based on my own experience. First, I always ignore anything that I know about the topic. I don't rely on my personal assumptions like knowledge. I always base my answers according to the text. You see, I always base my answers on the text. Now look at the second. Answers are in the same order as they appear in the text. So do not waste your time going back. Just keep on reading. Number 3. Be careful when you see verbs that qualify statements. You see, we talk about qualifying statements one more time. Let's say in the text. In the text, they say, the man claimed he was a British citizen. And the question, the statement, says, the man is a British citizen. You see, these two sentences, they have two different meanings. Let me prove it. When somebody comes to you and say, I am British, they claim that they are British. You see, there is a probability of 50% only that they are British because they might be lying. In the question, I have the word is. You see, it's a fact. The man is a British citizen. So what is the point I'm making? Listen to me. When you have this dubious, meaning, you have dubious situation, always mark it not given. Why? There is a 50% probability that he is a British. And there is a 50% probability that he is non-British. If he says that he is British, it doesn't mean that he is British. Okay, let's move on. There will be at least one of all three answers. So bear with it in your mind. Take this into account. Whenever you are dealing with true, false, not given, you should find at least one true, at least one false, and not given answers. If you only have truths and falses without any not given options, that means somewhere in the statements you made a mistake. Sometimes when I have three questions, like yes, for true, false, not given, let's say I have question 11 up to 13. And in these questions 11 up to 13, they ask me to put true, false, not given. I feel myself I feel like being the luckiest person on this planet. Because I know that one answer should be absolutely true, other should be false, and the next should be not given. So if question number 11 is true, if question number 12 is not given, so question number 13 will be false. I will not even waste my time reading for this statement, because I know for sure that the last option should be false. I should have at least one true, one false, and one not given options. Now, you know what? Whenever you are dealing with true, false, not given, don't skim and scan the text to find the final answer. Try to find the relevant part of the text and carefully read in order to understand what the author means. If you find the whole meaning in the text, answer is true. If you find a different meaning in the text, which is opposing or has a mistake, answer is false. When you cannot find the whole meaning, you can only, let's say, come across with some keywords, answer is not given. Don't look for words that exactly match those in the statement. You should always look for synonyms. You know that IELTS test developers will never give you the same wording. They will always change the word order, and they will also substitute some keywords with paraphrases. Because if they give you the same wording, you will put the answer without even thinking. You see, it will not be a challenge. To create some challenge in reading component of IELTS exam, they always change the word order, and they also substitute the keywords with synonyms. Now look, let's assume you have 6 questions for true, false, not given, and the question number 6 you read, highlight the keyword in the statement. You have 4 paragraphs left, so you keep reading paragraph 5, paragraph 6, paragraph 7, and you cannot find the information. You know what? Most probably the answer is not given. Don't waste your time looking for something which is not there. Instead of that, try to deal with other question types. And when you deal with these question types and you read the passage till the end, till the last word, and you cannot find this information, that means now you are for sure, know that answer is not given. Don't waste time looking for something which is not there. You can write T instead of true, you can put F instead of false, and you can put NG instead of not given. But you know what? I'm a creature of habit. I always put the full answers like true, false, and not given. I have plenty of time for that. And whenever I'm dealing with, IELTS reading passages, I managed to finish 3 passages, in a time period of half an hour or a little more. If you have no idea what the answer is, always put not given. You probably have no idea because the answer is not there. So you see, if I have 3 questions left, right? And I don't know what are the answers for these questions, I will mark all of them not given. Because I have no idea what should be the answer. I couldn't find this information in the text. Play it safe. And look at the last one. Yes, no, not given questions are slightly different because they deal with opinion. True, false, not given questions deal with the facts. You cannot deal with yes, no, not given as you dealt with true, false, not given. So today we covered true, false, not given. I gave you some tips, I gave you some strategies, but they are useless, they are worthless when you deal with yes, no, not given type of questions. Well, this is the end of our today's reading marathon, lesson 2. Hope to see you in the upcoming lesson, lesson 3, where I will teach you how to deal with yes, no, not given and multiple choice question types. Thank you for attention.